Hi students, welcome to today's video. Today we can start from type conversion or we can say typecasting. Both are same, type conversion and typecasting. Type conversion is actually related to data type. Now we know what is data type. Data type means the type of data a variable can hold. That is known as data type. We have learned primitive and non-primitive data types. Among primitive are classified into 8 types such as int, byte, short, long, then float and double. Then 2 more are there which are char and boolean. So these are 8 primitive type data types, isn't it? So what is the main difference of all these data types? Let's take integer data types. Means among primitive, integer data type is the one classification, which are byte, int, short and long. So what is the difference between all these 4? Byte is the smallest and then short is little bit larger than byte. Then what about int? Int is larger than both byte and short, and long is the largest among integer data types. So all these data types are different in size and range. We have learned in the previous chapter each integer data type has its own size and range. So here we are dealing with the data types. Means type conversion or typecasting means if you want to convert one value of any data type to another data type, that is known as typecasting. Converting one value of one data type to another value means another data type, that is known as type conversion. Here it is written, you can see in this line, a type conversion is a process that converts a value of one data type to another data type. Value of one data type means, let's take an example of int. So there is a variable int a. So a is a variable of type int. So we are converting, we are copying the value of a to another byte variable. Let's take b, byte b. So byte b equal to a. What is the data type of a? That is integer. So from that integer type we are converting to byte type. So that conversion is known as type conversion. Type conversion is two types: implicit type conversion and explicit type conversion. Implicit type conversion means computer can do, or the compiler can do this conversion automatically, or compiler can do this conversion itself. But explicit conversion have to do by the programmer forcefully. Compiler cannot do explicit type conversion. Compiler can do implicit type conversion automatically. So these are the two different type conversion: implicit type conversion and explicit type conversion. We can understand what is implicit. Implicit means, I already said that each data type has its own size and range. Implicit means when we copy smaller data type to upper data type, means when we convert smaller data type to higher data type, that is known as implicit type conversion. Understood? So in order to understand clearly, see students, we can see this is the students, see here you can see this is a room, this R1. I don't have pen, that's why I cannot write properly. See students, this R1 is a small room and R2 is a big room, isn't it? So this R1 is an example of, let's take integer data type. So then R2 is an example of long data type, isn't it? Then what is the difference? The size of R1 is small, means size of R1 is smaller than size of R2. Similarly, size of integer int data type is smaller than long data type. Size of int data type is smaller than size of long data type. So this one is long, this one is integer. So if we store, see, in this room 1 there is some people, means room 1 can accommodate 5 people and room 2 can accommodate more than 5 people. That from the figure we can understand. And if we shift the people from R1, means room 1 to room 2, there will not have any problem, isn't it? Because more than people can be accommodated in room 2. So that is known as implicit type conversion. Copying data from lower data type to higher data type, or smaller data type to larger data type, that is known as implicit type conversion. See, when we accommodate, when we shift the 5 people to room 2, there will not have any problem. Enough space are there. So by performing that operation, it will not make any problem. The same is performing by implicit type conversion, means the same operation we can relate it to implicit type conversion, because compiler can do it automatically. For example, integer to long. Another example, byte to integer, because byte is smaller than int, so we can copy the byte variable to an integer variable. That is known as implicit typecasting. Then we can learn next type, that which is explicit typecasting. See students, explicit typecasting means just opposite. See, in this room R2 there are 50 people and this R1 cannot accommodate 50 people. That's sure, that the fact from the figure you can understand. So if we want to accommodate 50 people from R2 to R1, so by using a proper mechanism or by using another mechanism we can do, isn't it? Usually we cannot do, but by the help of a mechanism we can do something in order to accommodate that 50 people in R2. So that is known as explicit type conversion. For example, this let's take R2 as long data type, R1 as int data type. We know the size of long data type is 8 bytes and size of int data type is 4 bytes. So we copy a larger value from, means we are copying value from a larger data type to lower data type. So it will make error messages in compiler, isn't it? So the user needs to do this operation forcefully using some operator, that is known as explicit type conversion. See students, here you can see the syntax for doing explicit type conversion. See, data type expression, this is the syntax of converting explicit syntax of converting higher data type to lower data type, data type conversion. The data type will be the data type of the target variable. See, here you can see an example, int a equal to 7.45. You don't need to consider the int in bracket now. Before that we can see int a equal to 7.45. Actually it will make error messages because we cannot store a decimal value in an integer variable. Integer variable can accommodate or is capable of holding integers or whole numbers only. We cannot store a decimal value. Here 7.45 is a decimal value. We are trying to store that 7.45 in an integer value. Let's see whether it's work or not. By default it will not work. It will make error messages. Forcefully the programmer needs to write something in order to do this operation. So whatever we have written in the bracket, so by writing like that we can do this operation forcefully. But there will be a problem. If you are doing like that, then also we cannot store this value completely. We can store the integer, means the first part only. Whatever we are writing before the decimal part only will be stored in the variable a. The remaining part, means the decimal part, will be truncated or deleted. That is known as explicit type conversion. Means what is 7.45 is a decimal value we are trying to store in an integer variable. So by the help of data type. Which is data type? Actually 7.45 is in decimal value. We need to convert into integer form. So what is integer? This int is the data type of target variable. So the data type of target variable we are using here as the operator of this conversion. That's why we are writing that int in bracket. So I hope you could understand this one. Let's take another example. Float x equal to 8.25f. You may be confusing why we are writing f with 8.25. That's nothing. Simply in order to differentiate that 8.25 is a float value. We have two float point data types, which are float and double. So with float, in order to differentiate among float and double, we are just adding f. Nothing more than that. So we are declaring a variable x of float type and we are storing the value 8.25. Then in the next line we are declaring an integer variable which is y. Then in the third line we are copying x to y equal to int x. See, we are copying float to int. Here among float and int, float is the largest. From the previous chapter you can understand. If you have any doubt, you can go to the previous chapter and you can pause this video and you can go to previous chapter and check that the values and data types. There it is written. Actually the size of both float and int are same, which are 4 bytes or 32 bits. So the size is same, but the range of values for float is higher than range of int. So the range is higher than range of int. That's why the float is larger than int. So among float and int, float is larger, but both having same size, which is 4 bytes or 32 bits. So when we write y equal to x simply, it will not work. Implicit conversion will not happen in the case y equal to x, because x is of type float, y is of type int. We are copying a larger data type to smaller data type. So there explicit type conversion should happen. So students, in order to do it forcefully, we are writing this int here. Why we are writing int here? X is already float and we are copying to an int variable, isn't it? So what we have to write? We cannot write a float here because x is already in float. We need to convert into int, because int is the data type of target variable. Here the target variable is y. That's why we are writing int in the bracket. So that int here will work as an operator of explicit type conversion. I hope you could understand. But here again one problem will arise. Which can you guess which is that problem? Means the actual value is 8.25. If we are converting, then also only the integer part will be copied to y. Means only 8 will be copied to y. The remaining point part 0.25 will be truncated. So here you can see in the above example, the float value is 8.25 will be typecast into an integer. The value of y will be 8 only. Understood? So this type of conversion is known as explicit type conversion. We can just go back and we can discuss an example. See students, see here you can see we are declaring double, my result. So both my double and my result of type double. Then we are declaring my float variable, my float of float type, my int of int type, my char of char type. Then my result equal to, see, my result equal to means what is the data type of my result? which is double. So my result, the data type of my result is double. My result equal to my int plus my char plus my float plus my divided by my double. So we are dealing with different data types: integer, character, float and double. So from this figure you can understand, see, it is written the corresponding data type. At the end, what is the data type? Double. Why? Because the result of my int plus my char plus my float divided by my double, the resultant value will be in double only because of the type conversion. The resultant value will be double only. So that double value will be copied to my result. My result can accommodate my a double value because the data type of my result is double. Here how this operation will be performed, we have learned in the previous classes. Means depend on the priority of operators, the operation will be performed. Here what will happen? My float divided by my double will be performed because division operator gets the higher priority than these operators. So my float divided by my double will be performed. So the result of that operation will be in double because among float and double is larger. So the result will be in double. Then we are doing my char plus the resultant value of the result of this expression, division expression. Then that will be converted to double because the highest data type we are taking at last. That's why we are getting double here. Okay, so according to the priority of operators, this operation will be performed. Students, here you can see we are declaring and initializing a variable sum with value 60 of type int. Similarly, we are declaring another variable count of type int with the value 80. Then we are declaring a variable double average, then average equal to sum divided by count. So what is 60 by 80? 60 by 80 will be 0 only. How? Because sum and count are integer. Then the result will be integer only. Here we are using division operator. So we will get the quotient only. Isn't it? When we divide, when we use division operator, we are getting quotient only. So definitely it will be, the actual result will be 0 point something. We are taking 0 only. That 0 will be copied to average. What is the data type of average? Which is double. So after copying the 0 of this result to the variable average, the variable average will have 0.0. Understood? So the output will print 0.0. See students, here you can see it is using a print function. We are printing the value of average. It is printing 0.0. Here you can see the same example, but here we are using here students, here you can see we are converting this explicitly by the help of this operator. If you are using this operator here, the result will be 0.75 because we are dividing 60 by 80. We are doing 60 by 80. So the result will be 0.75 after doing explicit type conversion. Previously we have seen implicit type conversion, which is average equal to sum divided by count. Means sum divided by count will give 0.0, so that 0 only, that 0 will be converted to average. So here what is actually this conversion? Int to double. So that int is smaller than double, means sum count are of the variable sum and count are of integer, average is of double. So from integer to double conversion is happening, means lower to higher data type. So we can do implicit type conversion, means compiler can do it automatically. But what about in the second program? Second program we are forcefully doing, so that's why we are getting 0.75. Then students, the last topic, which is print and println functions. So students, print and println function, as you know, it is a predefined method, actually predefined method of system class. So if you want to print something on the terminal window, we can use println functions or print function. Whatever we are writing as the argument will be printed on the terminal window. That is known as print and println functions. The difference between both are print will print the argument on the current line. Println also will print the argument on the current line. After printing the argument, control will go to the next line. That is the difference between print and println. Both are printing on the same line, means on the current line, not the same line, means on the current line the argument will be printed by print and println. But the print function, after printing the argument, the control will remains on the same line. But what for println function, after printing the argument in the println function, the control will go to the next line, means the cursor will go to the next line. That is the difference between println and print. Here you can see the example. See students, in this program 5.18 uses print function, two print functions. So the first line will be printed on the current line. So here this is the current line, then first line a space is there. Here you can see carefully, first space line space. So that first space line space will be printed here, and then again system.out.print second line. Then after that space, second line will be printed on the current line only. So cursor remains on that line, isn't it? Then what about second one, 5.19? Then here we are using two print ln functions. Then what will happen here? After executing the first println function, the first space line space, here you can see carefully, first space line space, that argument will be printed on the current line. After printing that argument, the cursor will go to next line. See, up to this operation will be whatever we have seen up to this, it will be performed by executing this line, the first println line. Once again, first space line space, that will be printed on the current line. After printing that first dot line space, first space line space, the cursor will go to the next line because of the println. Then executing the second println, it will print second space line in the current line, then cursor will go to next line. That is the difference between print and println. So here you can see a program demonstrating the use of variables in the println statements. See, int roll number equal to 23. So system.out.println roll number. See, whatever we in the previous example, you can see we want to print that directly, means the argument we have to print directly. First line, second line, those arguments we need to print directly. That's why, means that strings we are printing directly. That's why we are writing in the double quotes. But if you want to print the value of any variable, we don't need to use double quotes. Instead of using double quotes, we can simply write the name of the variable. As you can see here, we are declaring and initializing a variable roll number. Then using a println function, we are printing the value of roll number without writing that roll number in double quotes. So what it will print? It will print the value of roll number, which is 23. Then second program, a program demonstrating the use of a string and a variable together via concatenation. See students, here the same variable is declared and initialized, which is roll number with the value 23. Then using a println function, we are printing this string. See, this my roll number is full colon. Up to that is a string. That string we are writing inside the double quotes. If it is a variable, we don't need to put the variable in the double quotes, because variable has a value. Actually, we need the value of that variables. Then we have written my roll number is full colon in double quotes. Then we are writing the name of the variable, which is the roll number. Then we are separating this string and roll number using a string concatenation operator. This plus symbol will work here as string concatenation operator, or we can simply say concatenation operator. We have learned a string plus operator in the beginning of this chapter. So this operator is string plus operator for concatenation. So here you can see the output. My roll number is, whatever we have printed, means written on the double quotes, will be printed directly. That is printing my roll number is. Then 23. Why there is a space in between is and 23? Because here you can see carefully, after is full colon there is a space. That space is added here. So it will print my roll number is 23. Students, one more program. A program demonstrating how to use calculations in the println statement. See, this is very important. Means here we need to think about the priority or the precedence of the operators. We have learned priority and precedence, priority and associativity of many operators that we need to consider here. See students, here we are declaring and initializing a variable num with the value 3. Then in the println function, we are using the value of num. Then cube of space. That cube of space we want to print directly. That's why we are writing in double quotes. Then plus num. So this string and num is concatenated with the using this string plus operator. Then another string we are writing space is space. We need to print this space is space directly on the terminal window. That's why we are writing in this one in double quotes. Then again plus operator means concatenation operator. Then here we are performing a calculation. Then in bracket num into num into num. So finally what it will print? Cube of 3, because num is not in double quotes. So value of num will be printed if it is a variable only. If num is a variable, then only we can write like this. Otherwise it will show error messages. So cube of 3 plus is 3 into 3 into 3, which is 27. That's why it is printing cube of 3 is 27. Students, I hope you could understand. So we have learned type conversion, which are two types, implicit and explicit. Then what we have learned, println and print functions. So students, if you have any doubt, you can send messages in Campus Care or in my WhatsApp number also. I will give you the WhatsApp number. So I hope you could see the timetable, means the syllabus of the second term examination. You have to learn 3 chapters, which are values and data types, operators in Java, and input in Java. These 3 chapters you have to learn for the exam. We will complete the last chapter soon, so you can watch the videos I am uploading in this week. So thank you students.